Hey, it's Richard here. In this episode, you'll hear very low quality audio recorded from my bone conduction headphones while I run beta breakers in San Francisco. First, you'll hear me getting my bib at the Expo the day before. Then you'll hear me meet up with a friend, the other person who's regularly on this podcast. We chat and run the race. My side of the conversation is the only audible one. Rarely you'll hear my friend talk when my headphones pick it up. I've also edited out the times when we weren't talking. After finishing the 12K race in an hour and 32 minutes, we ran 16K back along the San Francisco coast to about where the race started. I recorded the audio for that too. The audio quality is low, and it should be annoying to listen to only one half of a conversation. But maybe next year I'll spend a couple $100 and get some portable mics. Okay, enjoy.
Hi, Richard Hayes. Yeah. Thank you. Hey.
We got fruit punch. We got blue raspberry also.
I would take fruit punch. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Punch of free water?
Yeah, I'll try one. Thanks. Sure. Thank you. Thanks. Are they like electrolyte stuff or?
No, so what's great about these is that they're gluten-free, they're dairy-free, they're made in a nut-free factory, there's no artificial flavoring, no food coloring, only 10 grams of pure cane sugar per serving.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey. I am kind of a member of Orange Theory. Not like a member, but I bought like a pack of lessons. Yeah. Yeah, me and my wife were going a couple times, like kind of a few months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we just go different roads. Yeah.
How do you use those gas?
Hey, thanks, yeah. Yeah, I bought like a Nathan water bottle a while ago. I was just looking for like a very small like handheld thing, and there was one that worked well. So yeah, I was just checking it. Those ones are like the mesh. Mine's like a hard shell, but it's kind of like, it's small enough to just go in like the pocket of like a similar vest. Yeah.
It's a 12 ounce, I think, what you have.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
At noon before.
Yeah, I'm actually here to buy Noon.
Great. Good time to be here. It's 20% off all weekend.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, with like with this coupon or like separately from this?
Just in general. So you don't even need to use the coupon. If you're a basement tier, it's 20% off all that stuff. If you're not, it's 11. So we've got a lot of it here, and then all the rest of the flavors are over there with the rest of the meal.
Yeah.
So,
I do like lime, I guess.
lemon lime.
Yeah, we do lime.
That and strawberry and lemonade are our most popular flavors.
Yeah.
And that's what's on sample in here.
And then what is there like a 1, 2, 3 thing? I usually just buy whatever. But is there like a light version and a heavy version or something? I saw one.
We do have one that's like more of a daily. That's like half the sodium content. It's 100 milligrams instead of 200. But you can also just take a tablet and break it in half and put it in. It's just less concentrated flavor.
Yeah. Morning.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I keep my old like race bibs, so they all just happen to have pins on them also. So those ones are from the donut run in the Alameda. They just give you tiny donuts after the run. That's basically the whole thing. We were like me and my wife were walking one time near like that new park that's like the tunnel top park or whatever. They just had like a booth. And they were just basically selling donuts, and then they said, by the way, there's like a donut run. And so we signed up. We're sort of thinking like, oh, that'd be cool if it's in like this area. So we signed up, and then it's like in Alameda, like where you have to take like the BART and then like a bus to get into like that island. And it's in like that really large like aircraft carrier like tarmac thing. It was a decent run like around that point, and then we did get like free donuts. They're like tiny donuts after. Yeah, I guess it was worth it. Like my I don't know if my wife should really be into running, but sometimes she does. She'll do like a 5K.
For like health considerations.
Yeah, one time, I guess it's like not like an activity that. I guess if she got like really into it, it would be like maybe she should like eat more or something like that. I remember one time. Like, because we were talking to the doctor and we were saying that like I run, and my wife like kind of asked like should she be running or something. The doctor was like, you don't need to. So it's like, but I think it's just like so the donut run was just like a fun like family thing. I think it could be good for her to get like comfortable with like 5K. But we do like multi-hour walks. That's the interesting thing is like me and her will like walk for like 20 or 25K, like 4 or 5 hour walk. And she can like easily do that.
Yeah.
But then it is interesting that if we do like a 5K, like, halfway through the 5K, she'll be like breathing heavy or she'll feel sick at the end or something just from like, and we've done like we do like a 5K walk like almost every day.
Right.
But just a body not being used to running and then trying to run a bit faster for like 15 minutes, like really kind of throws it out of whack. Yeah. Because one fun activity that I think me and her could do is more like maybe sometimes we get bored of doing the same walk at the same like speed all the time.
Yeah.
So it would be fun, like me and her do a walk and then end with like a 5K, or do like a walk and then maybe run, or like run to Land's End Trail, then walk the trail. Then we could sort of cover more interesting places if she could run a little bit or something.
So, how are you as the coach?
Right. Yeah. The thing is, if they had a beautiful, like I often think about this, if they had a beautiful coastal trail with no cars and it was peaceful, then like running would be fine too. Like it would be amazing to just do like a full day run, in a nice area with like cafes and stuff where you could stop. But then like biking is kind of doable because it's like you don't have to tolerate the cars for as long, but still biking's kind of sketchy sometimes if there's just a road and there's no bike lane, you're just kind of like cars give you the right of way, but it's not relaxing.
That's my issue.
Did you say you ever did this race before? Yeah. Maybe we did it on the same year then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at, like I get served photos from Google Photos, and so I saw like the taco shells at the start line, and I just remembered that like yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah. Because it's such an unexpected, like especially for San Francisco, it's like the one day where everyone just overlooks the food waste issue, and we're just like, let's just go nuts, just this one day with taco shells. Yeah, it's funny they haven't done like a green alternative where it's like no taco shells, but everybody gets like a reusable frisbee and make sure you like take at least one with you. Yeah, there was no map of this area, but like I feel like each corral sometimes, maybe it's just one long chain of people. I was picturing for some reason like a 5-way branching like many streets, and each corral is a street and they like load in, but that doesn't, if they don't have a map, that doesn't. Yeah, there's the start, but then I think like the start going in the opposite direction is where you line up, and it kind of turns like I remember waiting on like a 90-degree side street, and then like the start is at 8, but then the last wave is not till 8:45. So I think they like pause between waves and everybody moves up. Yeah, when I did it last time, I spent a while like looking for a bag check, and I couldn't find one, so I just assumed it wasn't. Like I found some other people looking for a bag check, but eventually I was wearing like a giraffe onesie costume, and so I was like, well, I want to get rid of my bag, and so I went into like a Google office and just like went to the change room and put my bag in there. But whoever reviews the security footage would just see a guy in a giraffe costume walk in, and then like 2 hours later he shows up like drenched in sweat, like just to like check that. So what do you typically do? You have like, you don't mind carrying a sweater once you feel like taking it off?
Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah. And after. Yeah. It'll be good after, because it's kind of annoying to get stuck. That's why I didn't wear shorts. I don't want to get stuck at any point today in like a cold breeze with just shorts on. Yeah, I guess San Francisco is kind of good for it. I always run with just, like when I'm doing my training runs at least. Yeah, in races I wear shorts, but for here it's not too bad. But I'll do long sleeve, long pants, and some days get pretty hot, and I don't find that like wearing pants on a hot day matters so much. Yeah. Like the heat, yeah, it feels very similar. Like either like my skin's wet, I'm sweating, or I'm wet, the skin's wet and it's trapped in the pants. It doesn't feel fundamentally different.
Yeah, I don't mind if I feel like hot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we can sort of just check. Yeah, the problem with the map is it wouldn't show us if there's fences or something. Yeah, I think these little entrances, like the, wherever it says no bags is probably where we can enter. I guess, yeah, there's like 20 minutes, so people are not getting in there. Yeah, I feel like the front of C would be good because, well, actually, I guess there's no difference between like the back of B or the front of C in terms of like I would want to optimize for like how many people do we see during the race, but not get stuck. Oh, that's what it is. So that maybe C is like the next street over. So I don't know. Yeah, we could go C. Oh, there's E. A, B. We could. I guess we just have to find C. Oh. Yeah, you said that. Yeah, I feel like 8 minutes is. I was looking at the conversion to kilometers. Like I think the fastest I've ever ran, maybe my sprinting speed is like 4:45 per kilometer, and I think that's roughly 8. But then the end range of C is like 10 minutes a mile, which is closer to like walking almost, I think. So that's such a wide range. Like I don't even understand what the other corrals are because it's just probably like corral A is like 5 people, and then corral D is like whoever couldn't fit in C. That's funny. I'm tempted to take photos of those people. I like those little capybara things. It's so funny to think about costumes literally, like just they've trained human-sized capybaras that are racing, like running. It was so funny, like the innovation where you could fake your legs too, where your legs are the animals and then your fake legs are on the outside. But we still haven't seen C. But I saw that guy said like this direction. Maybe it is on the other side. Yeah, let's see. Is C also over there?
Not C is back.
Oh.
Three parallels.
Oh.
It's like B and C are side by side.
Oh, okay. I think it was like B, D, or something. So it was E. It was B and then E. Unless it's just like B2E. Yeah, I've always found like they've clearly done a lot of like they've got urinals, the gates, like they've got people directing. But then there's always like the thing, like last year or like 2 years ago was the bag check. No one knew anything about a bag check despite like it's on the website. And then, but it's always like the thing I'm looking for. And then of course there's like the no bags. So it's like, well, you've done all this organization to funnel me into the one thing you didn't organize. And then same thing here is like, obviously everyone, like I think 90% of people are looking for C. And they've done this beautiful job of like 5 different corrals, like color coded with guides. And then it's like, well, it's not alphabetical, so you drop. I was like, I'm fair to say you get 4 out of 5 stars.
We missed the start. We had to that check was like a mile from the start line. So we had to jog there, jog back, and then start the race.
Like into the race.
Yeah. we had to go around.
Yeah, look at that, eh? See, so it's literally a situation where there's 2 guys telling us. Well, I guess B would be the closest. Yeah. Yeah, we could also just like walk. I guess we'll. Oh yeah, it doesn't say, right? Yeah, we may get stuck in like a desert for a while where everybody's gone, and then we're just like waiting for C. Unless we meet C people and we just jump, we find an opening in the gate or something. Yeah, maybe once we could just follow along, just at a whatever pace we flow, and then sort of middle of the race or whatever, maybe the fastest people at C will kind of start flowing past us, and we'll get we'll be in a good zone.
45 on my watch. That means it is the official watch. Come on,
And just a reminder, we're going to be starting in waves, so you're just joining us here today. I'm looking at you.
Oh, that's what it is. I guess that is the Corral letter. So we would have got rejected if we weren't BRA. Yeah, one of my colleagues is, they were saying that, like, they were saying a goal time of 1 hour is something they've not been able to break. Or yeah, I guess they wouldn't mind, like, getting faster, but they were just mentioning that 1 hour is a time they have, I guess it seems like they want to break that, but they have not yet. And then the other colleague is doing this as like training for the SF marathons. Yeah. I ran the ultra version. Have you seen that one? Yeah, that one's pretty cool. Like the group of people that run it are neat.
It's like you do it twice.
Yeah, but you start at like midnight the night before, and you run like a kind of an alternate route, and yeah.
Is it like the double marathon, like just double the length?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, twice. And then in the middle, you take a break because you finish the first marathon like a couple hours before the other one starts. So you hang out in like a lounge, which is actually kind of worse because you don't really want to cool down like that. But there's food there and people like talk and stuff. Yeah, I would do it if it was cheaper. It's like maybe like $500 for like this thing. So like doing it every year is kind of like, and it's all on like, yeah, it's like on cement. And so running like 2 marathons on this kind of terrain is not, I don't think it's good for like your joints and stuff. Unless you're training, but I wouldn't really train enough. So yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind just doing the SF marathon itself, but I think that's also a couple $100 and kind of crowded. Yeah.
21 or 2022.
Yeah. Yeah, next year there's a ultra called the Leadville 100, I think, but they have a bunch of other races partnered with it, and so then I'm trying to get a group of friends together to go. It's like sign-ups open in January next year. Then it's like it's in March or something like that. But there's like a half and a marathon, and it's in like a mountain range, like near Colorado, basically. So yeah, whenever in January next year, I'll be like sending that invite around. There's a couple people, like one of my friends lives in Colorado, so it should be interesting. In one shot, it was 125K, and it was like 16 hours of running. But time-wise now, actually, when I did this like Swiss Peaks 100K in like around this like the lake near Geneva, and that one it was like a solid 24 hours of like it wasn't really running. It was like walking up and down hills, and I slept for like 10 minutes at this like halfway place, like. But that was insane. Yeah, like literally like being awake for 24 hours, just like constantly moving. By the end, I was aware that I was doing this, but I kept thinking like that rock is like a person or something, and then I would know that it's not, but I would be like, I can't, like I'm so like on the edge of being tired that I can't like unsee that it's a person, and then I would like get there and it's like not, and it was like I was so aware, like I was so aware that I was like, I'm like falling asleep and like walking, and so I was like, I was like kind of scared because we'd go up on hills sometimes, and so I was like, but I was really aware of that, so I was like sitting down and just like, eating my food, getting my water, trying to like stay like alert, and there was like other people running and stuff, and that was just like near the last like hour, but yeah, that was that. Yeah, I think it's definitely true. There's like a cutoff where you need to sleep to prevent just like hallucination or something. So if I do longer, then yeah, like actually, so that race was 100, but there's a 170 version and there's a 360 version, and so I'd be interested to do the 170 sometime. But then I would definitely sleep for like a couple hours in the middle of that. So yeah, everybody buys the exact same type of tortilla. I like to try to catch one because it's a nice thing to try to catch. We could make the whole thing like it's good luck to try to catch one. Where is that? Do they have like a plastic bag with them then? Yeah, why is everyone like brings just the stack? how do they arrange that? That's the most impressive thing is like, because I would just rely on like collecting them. Like if I want to throw them, I'll just pick it up and throw. I don't need to like bring my own fresh.
Guy.
A couple of what? Oh, the gels, yeah. Yeah, this kind of race, I guess, taking in whatever is fine, but I like to combine those gel with a lot of water.
Yeah.
But I found for my stomach, it's better for me to have like, I just do like numb tablet where it's like already pre-mixed with the water, because I find, yeah, like eating, like drinking water makes my stomach feel too heavy, like just pure water, and then pure food is like not enough water, and I can't like mix them on the way down. It's,
Gotcha.
so I found it, I don't know for longer race I just eat Power Bar and drink, but I think now these days I never drink pure water. I just drink like Nun tablet. Yeah.
Always have an extra stomach by the end, like every single time.
Hey, there's my buddy right there. Good to see you again.
Just got my watch working again.
You needed batteries or something?
Yeah, I bought a new charger. My charger was broken, I think.
He just starts like saying nonsense like it's AI generated. Running was first invented by the ancient Athens.
Job needed replacement.
That was a good phrase, actually. They must have paid for the premium model to generate that. Because that's their motto, I think, commit, push, run, or whatever. That's weirdly technical, though. That, like, the consumer of AI is kind of, like, not ready to use Git, I don't know. And so their logo's like, yeah. And, like, shouldn't the agent, isn't that what the agent should handle? Is commit, push, run. You just vibe or something. Yeah. Yeah, I thought a bit about, like, what is the simplest costume that I could wear and acquire, like a hat or something. I saw someone with, like, a flamingo, like, inner tube thing. That's kind of easy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I didn't think of anything that's, like something that's, like, fun but super easy.
Right.
But I don't know what
I
that
was
is.
thinking as I was going out the door, like a hat or like a little devil ears or something. But I was like, I do actually want to wear this hat for sun protection. But I couldn't vouch the utility. I could wear like weird clothing, but then like start running like a half marathon. Like, like I don't want to like overdo it.
A quarter marathon.
Yeah. Like 7.5, but if you still want to do the back across.
Coming back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming back is like 16K, so it kind of doubles it.
Yeah. So a friend of mine wants to watch basketball playoff series.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like starts like right where we would end in like the same place. So I was like, well, I'll just like where we end in the marina or whatever, just walk down to the restaurant.
Oh, there's a restaurant there. So is that your plan for afterwards?
Yeah. You want to join?
Yeah, maybe I would swing, but I'll see which direction. Because my plan is still like run or walk back around the coast.
Yeah.
But I could eat like lunch or something if. What marina? Like on Ocean Beach Marina?
Yeah, or like.
Oh, you mean like part of the way back?
Yeah. It, like sort of.
Like Palace of Fine Arts or something?
Like further than that, like where the Embarcadero starts, like kind of like straight down.
Yeah.
7 blocks or something. And then Marina neighborhood.
Opera, yeah.
No, kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like the same guy that does these announcements like at every event. Like I don't have a chance. I'm loving to see it all.
There must be like a specific kind of voice that works, and they just find it. But if those two guys meet each other on the street, they're like, they just get really hyped.
So this is the voice.
That'd be crazy, like an announcer convention. Everybody at the convention is like that same voice.
Yeah.
Every single booth has a guy that's like, I can't not check out everything here. I feel like you need a clear beach ball with the taco shells inside. Just like really heavy, like just like. Yeah, last night at like 5:30, I was like going on the Best Buy website, and I was like, should I buy $350 of like those two microphones right now and walk to Best Buy and get them? Then I found DJI was like $350, and then Rode was $140. But Rode was like not at the store. It was like another store that was farther away. So I ended up not doing anything. Because I still think I would use them like once, and then I don't know how often I would use. I wonder though, would I be interested in like walking around, and me and my wife could use it, or I could walk to a quiet place like Monologue or something. I feel like it would be interesting. But I guess I could just do that with my phone. It's one of those things where I should do it with my phone first to prove that I would actually do it, and then get the gear.
For the moment, for the person.
Because then also it's like, would I wear it for the first time, like, and sweat on it, and like it could fall off, and I don't even know if they're waterproof or not or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I would get into GoPro. I feel like I could have fun with the GoPro.
Yeah, on a stick too. That selfie stick is really good for GoPro, I think. Yeah. Because you can go so far up, and like it's wide angle, you can see like everybody.
Right.
Yeah. And they have stabilization, like software for GoPro.
Yeah, make it not unwatchable.
Yeah.
It would be cool, like, if you was like go on runs and then like feed the sound through like a bird sound identifier.
Oh yeah.
And then just like have like you could like watch it back and see like the bird like would pop up that you were hearing,
Yeah.
So it's like a run with birds, like sort of like a learning experience too. You watch it back.
That's kind of cool too. That like it's like bird watching, but you don't have to do any work. You just go for a run and see what birds you collect. It's like collecting Pokemon.
Yeah.
You could you could make like each bird a Pokemon, and then that's how you collect them. Is you have to hear it, and then your app collects it or something.
Yeah.
Or just I guess regular birds work too. You have a categorize. Category list.
That would be a lot of fun. I feel like
Yeah, my mom uses that app. If she hears a bird, she'll like hold it up. Yeah. But I don't know. I guess. Yeah, for learning it makes sense.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, because it would be fun to know how to identify. But if a thing just tells me, like, by the way, this is the bird, it could just like lie to me, and I wouldn't know. And so then it's like, how do I know it's not lying? But if it's like for learning, someone's like vetted it or something. It's like a Twitch stream collab with an expert bird watcher, and they're like out in the forest, and he's like listening over this like reduced audio quality signal. Like he gets it right away. We're like right in the zone where they're going over. Oh, that'd be fun to try to get it into the tree.
Yeah.
I love that saying of like when something is like unexpectedly in the trees, like they're in the trees, run over the trees. But
like from Star Wars, maybe originally.
Oh yeah, it could be. Yeah, the first time I heard it was in a comedy routine. There was like a farmer had to shoot a cow or something, so he hired like a military shooter, and then the comedian was like, "Why would you hire them for that?" He's like, "What are they like need to find the cow and they're in the woods?" They're like, "They're in the trees." They're like, the cow's like up there.
This former like coworker
story that I think like it seems to be a very real thing. When he was like, yeah, like he's from the South, like I don't know, like Louisiana somewhere, like this like very rural southern place, and he's like, yeah, like people were like really into hunting there, so like they brought in these like wild boars or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And like they were just like, all right, set them free, and they'll like breed and then we'll like have them for hunting. It was like then like they were kind of like an invasive species. They just like and, like exponentially, you know, multiplied to the point where they like this huge like nuisance like just, like destroying like all the like farmland and you know and down to the point where like they're bringing in like military grade helicopters and like machine guns like he's like I think we missed but like only the like
It's like a Rick and Morty thing or something like that. Just have a purge one day where there's no rules and he's like,
he's like, they don't have it under control at all.
This guy's like, he's like doing this remotely, like no pants, like in his apartment, just like his expression is like blank. He's just like, what is like his
voice? Sounds like the same guy every time. Except for these every Sunday, like around the
That would be such a good video, like in between years, just has this like solitary Zen mountain life, like looks like silently looking at the sunrise, like quietly like petering about, and then just like then the light comes on, he like goes switches on, like starts hyping up. Just like everyone else's camera's off, he's like, just, you know. Have you seen? There's a YouTube video called like Kazam or something.
Yeah.
He has one. He does one of those videos where he does like a motivational speech, but everyone's on like mute and everything.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, that one's funny. He's like really getting into it and like doing this motivational, and then everyone else is just like dead and not responding, and like the camera's off, and then he just like closes the laptop when he's done. He's like, yeah, I did it, and he's like really proud of himself. Just like no feedback.
That guy, he like has very much lived this life, you know, like the software engineer. He just like, he knows like the absurdities. My partner, like she would often just like listen into I like Morty, you know, stand-ups or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And like she like wrote this whole skit of like narrating and all this whole, like,
What's their career? So their job.
Finished her PhD. So this year she's just like doing her own research and stuff. She like does like teaching AI.
So teaching it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Like in like a journalism or for like Q&A or something?
Or like Southern and like
Yeah.
so she like does both.
Yeah.
So she like travels South America and like
Because they're using AI or something?
like the exploitation angle, like.
Oh yeah, just what is the base level of exploitation?
Yeah.
You gotta measure that before you can see if it amps up or not. Oh yeah. But you mean like mining just as a general example of exploitation, or is it related or something?
Football and lithium in particular.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've never thought about that exact connection. Like I knew. Yeah.
Absolutely bananas!
Whoa.
And,
So like
Yeah. Yeah, I've always, whenever I thought about the mining, it was related to like, are electric vehicles really better? And it was related to like the environmental impact of mining that stuff. But I never thought about the people in that. Like I thought about obviously the repressed people, but not the mining conditions of the supply chain. Especially, it would always be from an environmental angle, not from the people themselves. That's interesting because it's like we want to analyze we want to show the impact on the people and the environment, but this impacts both potentially. But it's also like one of the only environmental impacts, so it gets that categorization, but it hides those people because it's like you think about the people in the like plants and then the environmental of the mining, but not the people of the mining, and that's kind of a cool, like almost like a blind spot. That's interesting. Yeah, that has been too. Yeah, I listened to this podcast called "Tech Won't Save Us" by Paris Marx, and he did a whole series on data centers, and there's one like somewhere in California, there's one in Spain, and they talked about how they like big tech comes into these places and they just try all these tactics to hide the fact that they're just going to take all the water, and then the people are like pushing back saying like, are you guaranteeing like us water first, and then they don't, and it's pretty crazy. But the rate also is like however many data centers there are now, it's like times 10 is how many they want to build, and that was like an alarming thing of the AI boom was and they say it's going to create jobs, but then it doesn't, and within the past like year and a half, I got into a bunch of podcasts that they all, I guess it started with like journalists were getting laid off from these bigger outlets that were collapsing, and they would start their own thing, so I would listen to those, and then they would mention each other, and then someone mentioned like Tech Won't Save Us, and then from that Tech Won't Save Us mentions like a couple of adjacent podcasts. So now I made this like graph of like all these podcasts that mention each other that I now listen to. Yeah, and they like guest on each other. Yeah.
I don't know
how you got into what?
Got super into comics. It was like.
Yeah, that one's unique. I don't always feel in the mood for it, so it's interesting to me because it's a good concept, but I don't know what about it. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Yeah. So that was a stepping stone to the comics. Oh, they were on Jenna Stieber or something? Yeah. Aftermath is an outlet that I follow. Yeah. I like them a lot, actually. They have a good professionalism core, but then also they're very like transparent, like people. That's what I really. It's weird how the thing that I follow outlets for is to hear about the people almost, and it's almost like I'm listening for like in between the stories when they just talk about their daily life or the troubles they had starting a business or something, and then in between it's sort of just like they mention the news or whatever, but I'm really there for like what's going on in their life. Well, whatever audio I'm recording, I'm pretty sure these headphones they use like a bone conduction reverse mic, because if I put them around my neck, you can't hear my voice. So that's kind of interesting. That's weird. Like that's new technology to me, like a pickup sound, because that has the potential to not have any background noise, but it definitely does have like a lot of background noise. I don't know how that gets in there, but if it was like if I could stick a little sensor to my throat and it could calculate, like maybe this is what AI could come in, is it could figure out from a vibration to my throat, and then you could not even talk out loud. You could just like fake talking in a grumble, and it would like transcribe that kind of. But I guess then you wouldn't have like intonation or something. So maybe you could kind of whisper and it could like amplify it with a naked person. Oh yeah. Yeah, anything that gets on that frequency, yeah. But this, I'm sure like this will be a one-sided conversation that has bad audio. But the stuff we've already been talking about, it's sort of like I knew it. Like I knew this would be a good like podcast episode. So then, yeah, so it motivates me to get a better, like a higher quality solution. Because yeah, I feel like that's like I've seen. Like I was watching Ari at Home is like this live Twitch streamer that mixes music like on the streets of NYC, and that was like he's got a full keyboard and everything. So it was showing me like he's gone to such an extreme to do an activity like in a live broadcast way that you really wouldn't think of doing mobile. So then it's like all I have to do is put on a microphone. Sure, I can do that. But it's weird now how little I've seen people do that. Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel there's a lot, like there'd be a lot of value in a podcast recorded during a marathon. And if you train up for it, you do an appropriate pace, you could just talk normally, you could insulate the audio quality, you could record like a GoPro footage of the talking, make it a video. Yeah, and then you could show like a map, like where you are in the marathon. Like, this would be like after the recording. And then I feel like the value of that would be showing people like, well, if they can record a podcast during a marathon, then it would motivate them to just do one in general. And it would sort of show like, you know, it's this amount of time, this is how you feel. Like, I like that layered content sort of thing. Because you could imagine interview, like I would really hesitate to interview other people. But sometimes in a marathon, I do end up talking to people, and so that would be so cool to just without be like, mind if I record this when you're like whoever you're running beside, and then you could just ask them like where they're from, like what's bringing them to it. That's so funny though to think like you'd be like running like this, like with video recorded like an interview. You could get pretty crazy with that. Like if we both had GoPros, we both had mics, there'd be like our audio and whoever either of us is interviewing. And like you could find like a group of friends, we both interview a different person. You could like cut between the different angles. It would be so like, yeah, it would get kind of insane. What's fun to me though is if you make that easy enough, you could do it really without thinking. Like you just go in with the mindset of like get a couple clips, get a couple photos or the video, but then you have it. And if you have all that stuff time-stamped or whatever, you could remix it into many different things after. You could actually get like sponsored by the race to like advertise kind of. That would be cool to get sponsored to fly around and advertise for races. I'm surprised. Why doesn't every marathon have like an influencer live streaming the race? Because imagine that would just so many people would show up just to be in the stream. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that seems maybe a little bit special skill is required. Like you gotta be a runner and have the motivation to record. And so there's not so many people. But it is like if everyone could do both, I'm sure they would. It's hard to organize. There's like a fake naked person. Was that your hat? Just like in the future, it's like, was that your hat? Mind if I interview you? It's like, where did you buy that hat? That was like a really thick. That was like a thick wool hat with like a pom-pom on top. It's like going skiing after?
Oh no, I've been going after the last mile. About that.
And you had the sign or whatever? That's like a Nathan Fielder case study. Yeah, when I was like burnt out at the end of the SF marathon one time, and so I joined up with a Pace Bunny group, and like every 5 seconds all of their watches would go off and they'd all look at them, and then they'd start debating, they'd be like, we should go 1 second faster, like, they're like, no, we're gonna keep it steady, like, and then, but it was like constant, like, just negotiating the pace. Yeah, and so, but I was like so tired, I just couldn't like handle, so I like start running faster just to get away. Yeah, people with full body suits, that's tough. And it's like, it started at 12 degrees. I guess it's only 13 degrees, but the sun is pretty hot because it's going to be 20 degrees at the end. Well, that's cool. Was that in the A corral?
they're like, it's an X-Wing. It's going to be A. Someone's got music. That would be a fun thing to do if I knew how to make music. I could do it. This would be such good video, too. Like, one of these years I should just, like getting like a static shot of this thing flying with the music, and there'd be so many little cool things to video. Yeah. If you get like a close-up of like the guys carrying it, and then you get like the thing like going with the music, it should be like the guys carrying it should be those like big walking, whatever they're called, not AT-AT, but like whatever they are, the tall things that are walking in the snow. And then the ship should be like the one that takes them down, because then it could look like that. But yeah, have you ever seen this Ari at Home Twitch channel? Or sometimes he posts on YouTube. But he did some funny things, like he has like a keyboard, like a full keyboard laptop in front of him, like welded, and he's wearing like a backpack. And he's got speakers and a microphone and like one for other people too. But some of the funny things he did was one stream, someone says, I'm a barber, I'm going to my barber shop like down here, and so he walks down with them, and it's like early morning, so he ends up getting a haircut while he's wearing the mixing rig, and he's just like making a song as the guy's cutting his hair. So he did that, but then the other one was he's randomly walking, and there's like a running club, like the New York running club, and so he starts running with them and making a beat as they're running. And I was listening to the audio, and I hear him get like invited to the running, and then I just hear the beat. Like usually he's freestyling or something over the beat, but in this case I just hear the beat, and then like a minute in, I just hear him like yell the F word. He's like, and then I look at the video and he's like running. But it was like such a fitting song. It's just like, did not like underestimated how hard the running part would be.
Let's go! You guys got it! You're killing it! Keep running!
That was like a disco ball helmet. That's pretty crazy. If you imagine having like a DJ with music, and then people running with like a red rope, and then people like in the club dancing like around. Yeah. Then you could like have like a person like with a video camera iPhone thing, and someone else doing interviews. You'd have like a whole scene like. Whoa, look at the feet on that. It's like so restrictive. They have like 10 centimeters of movement. I guess if they cut it, it would deflate. I don't actually know how those things stay inflated. What's the idea of it being tied together? I would be so scared.
Yeah.
Like either getting taken down or something. Like nobody can stop. Like if you want to stop and you're in the back, how do you signal? Then what is even the point? If it's not like a dragon costume, there's no like aesthetic advantage. Does it make sense? Oh, those speakers have a GoPro on them. Yeah, I wonder. I guess most of these people would be A. Some of the faster ones B or something. I always thought that was like for the race, but I guess it's not. Like that stuff that's tied up there. Yeah, I guess it's always there. No.
Let's go to the side and scan the area.
As what, like a private charity business or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes there's so much like mystery around that to like how do poor people get help. But I've never like done volunteering, and I feel that would only be part of the story. Like I want to see like if I was actually making documentary, I wouldn't mind investigating that whole vertical of like who's helping, how do you get help, what is a day in the life. That would be and it would be fun to have high production value. It's just like a water station. If you need, you could go over if you want. One thing about that, the race in Switzerland was that they're like this is a cup-free race, so you gotta carry your own cup, and we'll like fill it for you at the stations. And they had like a specific like blue cup in mind. They're like, it's $5, you buy it, and but it was so funny to think. Like I was trying to picture like what is this gonna be for, because you also carry water with you. So it was just like are you sure it's mandatory for me to carry this tiny blue cup that I'm just gonna wedge into a pocket and forget about? It's like, but also I'm not gonna use this cup. Like I'm just gonna throw out now like a a reusable cup instead of like no disposable ones. And it was so tiny. It's like well, if you want like a hot liquid, it's like, but like, I want like one shot of a hot liquid in a tiny cup. Like, when am I going to sit around and wait for that to cool down? Yeah, it's sort of like this bottle actually is like I bought this yesterday at the Expo. It's like flexible. I don't think it's ideal though, because it actually has like there's one hard spine, so it can't like fully collapse. So it's kind of a weird thing. But yeah, I like these shots of the street being full and it's going up. The one thing about this voice memos is when you take the phone off standby, that's the first thing you see. Like, it doesn't even show you the lock screen, it shows you the recording thing with like a pause button. And so I'm just like terrified that it'll get like paused or something. But that's the benefit of, like we were talking before, that the security of bad audio. In this case, it's like, I don't have to worry because at the best case, I'm getting like terrible audio. So if it gets paused, it's like saving me from listening to it. That looks insane, the way that curls. Yeah, you can't even see the street, so it's such a crazy effect. It's like they're going into the space. Somebody should do like I've never played Expedition 33, but having like a sign like 33 and someone like a painting would be kind of funny. And everybody's like running towards like on the expedition. Yeah, I don't understand how people keep up with like the newest game all the time.
Right.
It's such a, like, even just the task switching of like, what is this one gonna be? How many hours?
Yeah.
Right, like it would feel like a grind, and then it's not fun. It's just like trying to push through it.
Yeah.
There's a new word game that I saw. It's a single sentence, but words are replaced with like a hint of what the word is, and you have to guess what the word is from a hint and the surrounding context. But it does that like several times nested. So you'll see it's like a paragraph, and there's a bunch of nested brackets, and inside of every bracket you have to guess the word using like the surrounding context. And then it reduces down to one sentence, and that sentence is like a historical fact that happened like on that day in previous years. Yeah, I'm blanking on the name, but yeah, it's just some kind of, I think it's a game from some publication, but at the moment it may have just been purchased. Like maybe it was a third-party game and it was just bought by possibly the Atlantic or something. Yeah. And word games feel so obvious in retrospect, but it's like impossible to get them. It's such a crazy, maybe it wouldn't come across on a camera, but that is such a good photo, like the way that it's like triangular and stuff, and you could get just dense. Yeah, it seems like if I start a video, then it pauses the audio, but if I take a photo, it actually doesn't. Oh, this is the hill challenge, but obviously we'd be limited by the people. We should make this our slowest, section. It's just like a 3 blind mice costume, because they have the sticks. Yeah, it's true. That's my last name is Hayes, so that's like the Hayes Valley, Hayes Street. I wonder, like, would wireless and mic technology ever get, that's cool, it's a house party. Oh, is there like one person in the house? Like if you could get wireless and mic technology down to like a $5 chip, you could give them out at like a booth. And it would be like a one-time use, like one-time battery, one-time mic, but it would have like a Wi-Fi connection. And you just give it to a bunch of runners, they wear it as a pin, and then it sends all the audio to like somewhere where they're going to do something with it. Or you can download it after. Yeah. Or like instead of like a photo package, you give someone like an audio package, but it would be like a family on vacation, and like at Disney World, you can even give them more expensive gear, and they just record like every conversation with a trip. You could pay someone to like cut it together, and then that'd be so cool to have like hours of audio at like meals and stuff. Because now they like give us like all your data, and we'll like recreate a loved one with AI who's died or something. But it's like just record them when they're alive, and then you just have the actual person. That's something I'm really interested in, is like not necessarily recording like older relatives, but just in like the content that I make, it's sort of like a free thing. Like if anyone ever cares about me in like 80, like 100 years, then they'll have a lot of my opinions and stuff will just be like around on YouTube. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll have to see. At some point, I'll need to move them somewhere, but I don't really have a plan. But I think I still feel like hopefully I'm getting better at making content, and then like my next batch of content, if it gets good enough, I'll try to preserve it. But I guess that's the dilemma, is that the stuff that I don't think is important would be kind of the most interesting. Yeah, the stuff that I like forgot about or something. I did some Orange Theory classes. That's the Orange Theory logo. Yeah, treadmill and some weights. Yeah, I wouldn't, I like running on the treadmill when there's music and there's people. Yeah. And then also, I like doing sit-ups, push-ups, and body weight. Yeah. But the weights, sometimes you'll go to a class, and they'll just have 5 or 7 back-to-back new exercises I've never done with weights. Yeah. And it's sort of this isn't going to help me. This is kind of going to just I just need to practice avoiding injury or something. Yeah. But then if I had a easy way to opt, if they said that if there was 5 exercises that were very common, sit up, push up, squat, and they always had on screen, if they had this is the alternate one, that would be nice, because then I would just I wouldn't have to talk to the instructor. I could just clear with him I'm doing this alternate, because I don't want to offend them I want to get their advice first, but then yeah, and I've been pretty impressed. Orange Theory, it feels like a really good community, and they do social events, but they could take it to another notch, where it's just literally, it's just a club and a DJ, and on screen they have optional exercises that are pumping with the music, and you just kind of, if you're, you just go to the club, but there's equipment and there's treadmills, and you can get, you could drink alcohol if you want, or you can get, water, and it would just be all day, check in when you want, check out, just come to the club, dance. Dancing is a workout, so dance, follow the routine, follow the things, go over in the corner, do the yoga, maybe there's a quiet room, and it would just be a little bit of basically an exercise club, but also a little bit of a resort, you just kind of go there when you want a cleanse almost, and they could provide a meal plan, you get a well-balanced meal at the right time, or at night I guess, however regular clubs operate, but just with an eye towards getting a workout, chin-up bars and stuff in the club, because that would be so easy, and that would get me in the club, if there was a chin-up bar that was just dance and do chin-ups and then whatever. Yeah, it could be an outdoor, they have outdoor workout areas for free, just have it pay for a DJ to be there. So is your thing around the ferry building, the basketball thing? Yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah, so we're going to take an hour and a half, after the race ends, we'll be an hour and a half making our way back. So does that fit with your time? Yeah, I guess it wouldn't, I don't think it would be faster than the race time. Race time might be an hour 20, and so it's it would be a 16K run. Yeah. Yeah, when does the 9? I think that works, because 9, yeah, we have 3.5 hours from now. And you could take whatever it's called, the F. Once we get to Pier 39, you could get on the F tram. Yeah, I would drop by, because that's basically where I'm headed. If you get on the tram, I'll probably continue running, but if we both just run there, then I don't think I'll stay very long. I don't think I've ever watched many sports, or any sport. Yeah, I don't have a context for how hard is basketball. I imagine I can't do it, but I don't have if someone does something impressive, I don't even know. It's how high could I jump? I don't know. I'll grab something. They're doing a lot of straight water, I guess. Yeah, usually they do half and half now or something. Because I think it's actually kind of the opposite of what we want, to drink pure water. That makes it worse. So only if someone was actually approaching dehydration would it be beneficial. Otherwise, you're just going the opposite way. It's just if your throat is parched, then They should just like spray a little spray in your mouth or something.
You know how their careers will progress.
For this specific team.
Or like, it's just high drama.
It's what? It's what?
Whoever wins moves on. There's like one team that has like two guys who are all like, yeah, the drama of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how basically anything a story can be told about anything, and if you start getting like pitched the story, then a person will get into it. But it's weird how like certain things, like I guess like basketball, a lot of other people will probably know the same story, so that makes it fun in a way that can't be replicated for less popular things.
Whoever watch like
it's one of the top basketball players. Maybe it's Shaq, like O'Brien or Shaq or something. And people said that like his genetics are like, and like his level of fitness that he's acquired, like if he did any sport he would be like dominant, and he just happens to do basketball. But yeah, like darts. If you just throw a dart, you can get a 3-point shot. They still have a fence all the way along here. Someone just like waiting to cross from like 6 a.m. this morning, just waiting like 3 hours. Yeah, the name windsurf also is kind of like, it makes it sound like you just go wherever the wind, like that's what you'd think is in a hot air balloon or a windsurfer or like a hang glider thing. You're at the mercy of like the direction of the wind. But I think like people who actually do that stuff, they can like control it. But there's not that many people that would know. Like, so the brand is like, it's like, you know how whenever you are outside, the wind is going in a certain direction? What if you just happen to also want to go in that direction? It's like, well, sometimes I want to go against the wind, and that really sucks. Is your product like a product where I have to go against the wind? They're like, no, you can like control the wind. It's like, that's not something I'm familiar with, but okay. That would be fun if a family of 4 had like microphone and headphones and they're connected, and then they're all at like there's like maybe a party that is like 4 blocks in size, and they're just all wherever, but they could see each other's location and hear each other. So you could be like enjoying the same event, but not be physically near people, and just kind of like talk. But you could talk in a normal voice because you'd hear each other in the headphones over like the music. That's like, I feel like that would be augmented reality. Is like you and your friends can just be in a Discord call, mobile, and even maybe playing a simple video game or something in a visor. But you're also like outside at a park or like a party, or like doing a race. Yeah, that should be their logo. Maybe it is actually. It's like now that's a good slogan. And if the product actually did that, that would be a great product. It's hard for me to picture, like everything I picture is just like ChatGPT, but does this, and I don't understand how it would ever not do that. Yeah, like what could it possibly do? Like at best, it's like several different sizes of ChatGPT that are more responsive, but yeah, it's sort of like not distinguishable from just chatting with any of them or something. Oh, they did a robot race. Somewhere in China, there was a bunch of different teams built robots, and all the robots ran like a half marathon or a marathon. But it was like none of them were like completely independent. They all had like handlers, and I was actually surprised because I thought for sure was seeing the Boston Dynamics dog and stuff. I was like, yeah, bipedal robot that could run a marathon by now today. But it seems maybe some of them can, but these teams, they all, like, they would lose balance, or, like, some of them would have a gait going, not super fast. Like, none of the robots beat the human runners in terms of time. And that was because it's something you think about. Like, I've seen robots, like, stumble down a bank or something, so I was like, well, on a flat thing, they should be fine. But something about, like, they lose, like, minor balance over time, and then they fall. And so that's very fascinating to me, is that, like, if I saw a robot running, I would be like, yeah, you could do that for an indefinite amount of time. But of course, it's like a real-time system. Yeah, so it's not, you don't solve the flat ground problem, and then also you can run, because then there's battery and everything, and weight. So it's like solving every 5K is like an additional problem of maintaining the system or something. Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of it. There's like a famous race that is off-road. It's like 24 hours off-road or something. Yeah, it's just like brutal terrain, like trying to go as fast as possible. It would be cool if every weekend this amount of people just did this, and it would just be so easy to get and stay in shape and meet up with groups and stuff. Yeah, I wish there was more, I wish I could pay a subscription every month so that, me and a group of people that are interested in similar fitness goals could be, collected under a coach. And the coach would just tell us, do this, go here, do this. And maybe whatever company I was paying, they would, section off a route or operate shuttles or something. And then you could pay, bonus packages to go to, a fitness resort or some kind of, destination race. And they would just arrange everything. Did you watch any Andor season 2? It's good. Yeah. Maybe. I'm 3/4 into this season. I think, the finale's out, I think. And I don't know if there's a season 3. I think I heard maybe there won't be or something. I don't know why. I guess I think the actors are not doing it anymore. Otherwise, maybe they would. Yeah. So why is that just out right now or something? Yeah, you were mentioning making a comic book game. I think that would be cool, especially if the game could promote the idea of reading actual comics. If you found an open source comic and you made that into a game and to put your own spin on it, but then people could actually go get the actual comic, a fairly popular comic that you could sort of gamify, but for a company that wouldn't see you or something. Yeah, actually there's, that guy Casey Maori, he's a programmer of the era of Jonathan Blow or something, and he, for whatever reason, he's making a comic called Meow the Infinite. It's about a cat in space or something, and it's got good art, but I feel that guy, that community, they would be, because he's a game developer, he's always making games. He's the guy that did the game from scratch. He started with the lowest level instructions. But yeah, taking his comic and gamifying it would be something that fits well with that community. Only sometimes that community is toxic because Jonathan Blow is of the elite, better than everyone programmer, and so they don't believe that anyone any failure to them is laziness. And it's surely sometimes people are just tired or less capable than Jonathan Blow himself, but he doesn't. He's no, they're just not trying hard enough. Yeah, the idea though of he did a bunch of streams where he started from near assembly level Windows commands, and he did graphics and everything, and he went all the way up to a 3D game from just system calls. So that's such a cool thing. I have no idea why he made a comic either. But when he made the comic though, he was really particular about printing and stuff. I feel he's the kind of guy that if he's making a comic, he learns all about printing and how to get the best image, and then he, the company sends proofs, and then he makes sure that the quality is at the level. It's so interesting when people do that. You can really tell the polish of the final thing. I have some Noon. I haven't drank out of this yet if you want me to pour Nin tablet. Yeah, I would think that one could assume by now, because it's a safety thing kind of to give people that. What is this race in miles? This is the 5th mile. Oh, yeah. And so we did, so that's 8.24 kilometers in 64 minutes and 36 seconds, and that's the 5th mile. Yeah. Yeah, how are you feeling overall with your sweater and stuff? Yeah, no, yeah, pretty good. Yeah, we could do that together also. If we settled in on a pace, we could kind of just, depending on, we could see where do we land pace-wise for each of us, and then we could at least start together or something. Yeah, I guess if we're going for time, it would, unless we followed a bunny, we could start with a bunny that's a bit ahead of our goal pace, and just, then if we stick with a bunny, we are guaranteed. But then if we fell back, it's fine, or whatever. If you're talking about doing a half marathon for time, there's one that's crazy called the Bay Bridge half, and it's most of it is on the bridge, the Bay Bridge, because there was a pedestrian thing on the other side from Oakland to the Treasure Island. Yeah, if I tried really hard for a half marathon, it would be an hour and 20 minutes. And when I did that last time, I wore the Nike Vaporfly shoes, and so I kept thinking is it the shoe? Is it just the shoe? Yeah, that was sort of when I was really training and in university and stuff. I was lower than that, but these days I don't train for speed at all, so it doesn't feel super healthy to like run that fast, because it's like my body can do it, but I don't know about like my heart and lungs and everything. So then, or vice versa. Yeah, we could just follow the 130 pace bunny, and I would run there, or start just like get ahead of them, and then like if they catch up with us, just like stick with them. Yeah, next January I'll send you whenever they open the Leadville ones, in case you want to go to Colorado, and because there's definitely like a half marathon, but it's in like it'll be like a lot of elevation. I think it'll be like a lot of like I think Leadville is famous for their mountains, in Colorado. But then if you get that time on that course, then you know for sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that, like, whenever I was training, like, my 10K time was twice my 5K time, and the half marathon was twice the 10K, and marathon was twice the half. Like, it was just, like, whatever pace you train for, you end up can just do that same. Like, it's not like, it's kind of an interesting thing. Because I think, like, if you're training for a 3:30 marathon, the actual training program is just, like, run one out, like, half that time as a half. Would you, if there's still sign-ups, should we sign up for the SF Marathon and just do 3:30? I really like those kind of, like, when I'm not, I kind of enjoy being, like, undertrained and just being like, you know what, there's a person with a sign, and I'm going to stay in front of them, and that, like, to me, that's, like, a fun thing where it's, like, and I'm not ready for it, and it's going to be, like, terrible, but, there'll be, like, people excited around me sometime in May. Actually, yeah, so that's this. So maybe it's not. Maybe it's, like, June or July. Yeah, because if we have the time, I could get those two DJI mics, and then we just do, like, a regular training run, and we film the high-quality audio instead of, like, our Tuesday recording, and then we'd be filming, like, our training program, sort of, and then we could film the actual. That would be pretty crazy podcast, like, cycle of, like, episodes of us training, doing the marathon, but we'd have to work out, like, how could what would our training run location be and stuff. On weekends, we could do, like, a weekend morning run, something. Yeah, I feel like I would alternate between, like, a 5 or a 10K run for speed training somewhere where there's no, like, obstructions, and then I would do, like if this is not recommended for training, but, like, I would do, like, the full marathon distance, like, on a slow run, and then I feel like that would be easily, like, you'd combine the speed with the distance, and it would be a good formula. But now I feel like these days, if I crank up the mileage too fast, I'll get injured. So then that's basically, like, the only consideration is how to train without getting injured. It's fun to also just book a bunch of races in order to train, because then you have to do them. Just pick different distance, and not even if you forget to train, you just start doing the races, and then the races train you. That donut might be from the donut run. I feel like they had stuff like that. Have you ran, like, all along the coast here before, where like on the way to the Golden Gate Bridge, there's, like, those stairs that go down, and like there's, like, you go through, there's, like, the Land's End Trail, which is right on the coast, and then there's that rich neighborhood. Yeah. But then inside the rich neighborhood, you can get down to the beach. Oh, yeah. And then then you're, like, running on the sand. Then there's the ruins. Then right after the ruins, you go back up to, like, alongside that highway. But then if you turn off left, you can go, like, down some stairs, and there's just, like, you go downstairs, and you're kind of right on the ocean, then you go up the stairs, and you're then you're kind of near the bridge at that point. Yeah, those stairs, because sometimes there's, like, fog and stuff, and those stairs are pretty cool, because it's, like, the elevation combined with facing the ocean. You can see, like, other people walking down the stairs. Yes, yeah, Embarcadero gets crowded. I wish that they would just close the whole highway and just have, like, a waterfront part green strip and businesses and, like, parks and water. Because now they have, if you keep going past the ferry building all the way to the dog patch, they've done some new development in front of, like, Chase Stadium, and yeah, you can get kind of far, but then it's always a shock when, like, the beautiful waterfront trail just ends abruptly, and it's like they could have gone further, but maybe they're still, like, working on it. The grade is fine. What is is that, like, taro? The other thing? Like a purple root vegetable? Yeah, is eggplant that color? Yeah, maybe it is. There's, like, a gradual decline. Everyone's, like, speeding up. Yeah, I always thought that's a pretty random thing to have. I think with this voice recording, too, the voice memos doesn't expect, like, the signal from the bone conduction, so I think there's a lot of clipping that goes on. Like, the voice is, like, maxed out no matter how loud I'm talking. And that, I guess the effect that has is just make it sound lower quality. Imagine those things run with us. They just, like, let them in. Yeah, they've been sleeping for, like, the last 20 years, and they're so ready to run. Those people are not dressed like salmon. Did they already finish? I guess that makes sense. Yeah, because you either, like, wait for a bus, before you do the race the second time to get back to your... Yeah, some companies should do a little heat zone and have like heaters, and that would be so popular. Just like play like ads on a loop and just like have a little heater and everyone's collected listening to ads. Imagine that it's like a cold day and there's a heater and there's ads playing, and every once in a while the ads like prompt you to like repeat something or answer a question, and if you get it wrong you lose the heat for like a few seconds or something. So you have to like repeat their slogans or like say answer trivia. It could also be used positively to teach people. People would like remember things so well if you could. I guess you could hack it and have it teach you like language or something. Or you're at like a bus stop in the cold in another country and you have to like use that hot translate app to keep up with it. There's a YouTube channel I started getting recommended, and the guy's name is like Yanni, and it's just like one guy, and each video gets a couple thousand views, so it's like a small channel, but he's like covering like the Ukraine war or whatever, and one of his videos, he's like in contact with like some kind of brigade that needs like trucks, and so part of his video is like getting donations to buy them a new truck, and it was pretty interesting because like he throws in like a clip of them being like, yeah, hey, we need a truck, so if you can help us out, like here's us, this is what we do, and it's just like, it's like people our age, like with, you know, like in the brigade or whatever, they're like, what they do is they send drones to look for signal jammers or something like that, but it's kind of interesting way to get the news of like a guy my age in his house like saying what's happening, and he's like in contact with other people my age like on the lines, and then then there's like the fundraiser, and then they show like, I got a newsletter a few days ago where they're like no one was injured, but one of the trucks is already smashed, like, and they said there was a 3-day ceasefire, and on day 2 of the ceasefire, that's when the truck got hit, and so it was like a double thing of like, this truck was destroyed 2 days after being activated during a ceasefire, and it got hit during the ceasefire. But it's such a weird to get that through like the influencer sphere sort of thing. But it's kind of interesting because the mainstream media can't really do that because their stuff has to be like editorialized and like put together. These people can just say their actual experience, and that's so like interesting and powerful. I remember these drum people. One issue I ran into trying to make music was that I was using FL Studio, and I felt like last night I was trying to sort of transcribe a tune that was in my head with like the drums and the kick and the cymbal and stuff, and then I was like, oh whatever, I'll just start with something random, so I like scribbled onto the beat, and then it immediately sounds good. And then now I have this dilemma of like, so anything sounds good, so then like randomness sounds good, but if I try to be intentional, it's like really hard. So then I'm just kind of stuck with like, what am I doing? I'm just like whatever sounds it happens to provide by default, I just scribble on those, and then it's good. But I can't control it at all. But then it's another thing of like, what are we trying to do with AI music? Because we can't control AI music either, and it sounds good, but it's like, you don't need AI, you just take all the instruments and just like toss them in there, and it's gonna sound fine if there's like a beat behind it. So it's sort of, it's doing like a feeling. Like the good music is made by a human that can control like the feeling of the music. I don't know if I'll ever get to that stage, but even if I did, it's like another thing where even if you're that good, if you don't have an intention about what feeling you want the music to convey, it won't, it's not going to like convey that feeling for free. So, and that's part of it too, is like, I sit there like making something and I don't have like a specific thing I'm going for. So it's never, like I'm just like waiting for it to sound good, but it's never going to because I don't even know what I want it to sound like. So I'm in this like total gray area trying to figure it out. That little 15K bonus thing is so funny. It's like, it just puts you further into the middle of nowhere and then you have to come back. Yeah, it's like you have to do that to get home anyway, but you could do it after you get the drinks and stuff. This like sand blowing in your mouth. They should make a little like 10% off if you do like 10% off if you do it extra. That little 15K thing though is one of the ways that like capitalism is creeping in. because the race has so much personality. But when I see, like, you have to pay a lot to get the bib mailed to you, and you have to pay extra for the 15K, it's a little bit, like, sketchy. But is it the same company that started this race in, like, 1820 or something like that? Yeah, the tortilla things are like a canary. If they ever say stop throwing tortillas, they're like, okay, we know. That's how you know. The tortillas have like the FBI has not been here written on it. But if that ever goes away.
All right, we got the fruit. Yeah, you go fruit. You look great, sir. Yeah. All right, wait. Way to go.
132.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. All you. Nice job. NBC.
12.158852. I wonder, there's a little thing like this, we get free alcohol, but I want like a free drink, but like alcohol free. I would imagine that hopefully the same company would have some high quality, like no alcohol. Or we may, if you're interested in the metal, I don't know where they hand that. I think we're supposed to be on the edge. Yeah, if you want a banana. What was this drink actually? I took 2 of them from the Expo and I never figured it out. When the guy gave it to me at the Expo, he said, want some free water. So he didn't say anything like, and it's gonna make you jacked, or is this protein or something? What poker hand do you think this is, if it is anything? There's like the 2 of spades, the 3 of spades. Is it a flush? A straight flush would be the best. They should have a little Bellotro sticker though. I actually don't want to carry it or have it. It's funny because a lot of people, like it's like a heavy piece of metal, so they insist that, like my family would be like, you must take it, we must do something, and they're not, they also were just going to throw it out anyway. Yeah, I always keep the bibs, because you get a bib all the time, and so that's like a guaranteed easy collectible. Well, we could pretty much just, if there's anything we see, we could wait, otherwise just try to exit and continue up the coast. Yeah,
I think I'm good. That's all I really want.
Yeah, if there's anything good, it'll have like a line. I'm just checking out like the demographics of the Windsor people. It's like a lot of men, like good race distribution. Oh, the popsicle. That's kind of a good, like it would be fast to hand them out, and a popsicle would be nice. It's kind of a good idea. Now if I only knew like where can I buy Johnny Pops in the world. Do I have to come to the... Yeah, you have to come to the race. That's how they get you to come here. They say, they have the stores, it's like Costco, Whole Foods, and the other ones I haven't, like 5 grocery stores I haven't heard of. Not Safeway though. I think I remember getting like a dead end that way, and then having to come back here. But we could check if there's anything you want to check for.
I'm waiting my phone.
No, I don't think so. Well, I guess we can like start the watch again for this second. It's funny how cops have kind of become like the default like guys that you have hang around for any purpose. Like even like it's funny to have them here where it's like there's a water station, a cheerleader, and they're like cop. You know, it's like water. Anybody want water? It's like you go guys, go guys. It's like anybody need a gun? Anybody gonna get shot here? But I feel like if you just had cops in athletic gear running the race, that's got to be just as good. Yeah, I've always, only like on Aftermath and stuff, they make fun, or like I listened to a New York called Hellgate is a New York like news outlet podcast, and they talk about, someone on that show they have the slogan, give a cop a mop, because they're like, the cops are always in the subway stations, and what we need is like cleaners in there, and so it's like, give a cop a mop, Johnny Pop, yeah. And it looks like they had different like flavors, at least that they sell. This is like the entry level flavor. If you can, like, yeah, it's like color coded, like, like instructions, like one by one. It sounds so cool. When I was debating, should I go one day to Outside Lands? It would be like my first festival concert. It's like $230 to go for a day. At first, I thought you had to buy a 3-day pass, and that was kind of crazy. But I might go there because I kind of want to be like in a big crowd of people for a bit and maybe get some footage of that. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to his concert like in 2 weeks or something. Giant Stadium. Yeah. Yeah, right after I watched the Super Bowl halftime show, I looked it up. I was like, I wonder if he's ever going to be in a concert here. And then, yeah, it was like, he's right here, yeah. And SZA is there as well. The same girl singer that was at the Super Bowl. Yeah. Yeah, I never would have known how to pronounce that unless... Oh, here we go. Now we
now we have these weird gates. It's like we thought we left the race. You're still in the race. It's got time still going. That's what the breakers. You thought the breakers were the waves. That means try to break out. They need tickets. Maybe that way. That one's a ticket check over there. The one thing about FL Studio was I just went into a menu and I started checking all the sounds and testing them out, and I found a cool one. And then it told me it was a trial mode only. It was like a synth, but it was like a $60. Like I paid a one-time fee of $200, and I was like, okay, so any sounds that are in this program I now can use.
Yeah.
But then it's like just embedded, like without any other. It doesn't say trial. It just says like trial once you open it. So I was like, do I really have to go through every menu item and check if it's trial or not, and then remember that somehow? And obviously, like that's the first thing. That's the thing I don't understand is like obviously what I want to know is how many sounds do I have available and what are they?
Right.
And so then I just want to quickly test each sound. But it's kind of cumbersome to do that, and plus many of them are like trial, which is like half the price of the. I'm not gonna like pay. That's the part of music I don't understand. Like, would I really get like it's just like one sound that I might? Because even if I paid $60 for a sound, it's like how many songs am I gonna make with that sound? Yeah, it's kind of I don't really understand that about music. Because then the basics are like I guess I could get free sounds and import them if I learned how to do that. But otherwise, then it's like the sounds that I have are just like the sounds that are in every song, and so any song I make is not, it's kind of confusing. It's like, could I make something that sounds interesting if it's just the basic like 909, 808 like kick drum thing? But that's where I think there'd be value, like if I could make a plugin for FL Studio that hides all the free trial stuff, that would be pretty useful, I think. Yeah, I'm still on the fence about it. I think I will continue, because actually what I found was you can record your voice, which is like obviously you can do that, but then you can put effects on your voice, and you can either like do like, yeah, you can do like obviously post effects, but you can put the effects on your voice when you're like, you can like put on headphones and say stuff, and the effects will play on your voice in real time. So and then you could pipe that out. Yeah, like if you do like a Zoom meeting or anything, you can use that as your microphone output. So you could have effects on your voice like for that reason. So that's kind of, yeah, that is kind of cool. And then if I'm recording audio, then you could you could just drop music in and put like beats like right in there. So that seems like kind of becomes like a replacement for Audacity at that point, but with more polished like effects. Yeah, there's like auto tune and everything, and yeah, the guy Ari at home, he does like live effects. Like you sing into the microphone, it echoes, it reverbs, it like adds like cool effects on it, and that really sounds cool, I think. So then, yeah, it's pretty compelling because that's also a way to generate unique sounds.
Right.
And then the song has a little bit of personality. Should we jog a bit, I guess? Yeah, I think definitely like this generation of artists is so good at making electronic music and controlling electronic that it's just like, it sounds like infinite sounds, but they're all directed somehow. Do you ever take these stairs? Yeah, I think the route is pretty standard probably. But there's a couple choices like, do we run like down towards the ruins and then back up, or like stay on top? And then the other one is like, whenever I was talking about those other stairs, you can like stay along the highway or you could go down the stairs. So it just depends like time-wise and effort-wise. That's pretty funny though that you have an event that is back, like that basketball thing is just, it's in like the ideal place. I was going to ask like how much time do you spend with friends? Like how many friends do you have? But then I could ask, do you have the 15 friend limit as approved by Mark Zuckerberg? As endorsed. Yeah, he says that every American wants to have 15 friends, but they only have 3. So that's what his AI friends are for. And then everyone I've heard talk about that is like, that's just further proof that he's so far from understanding what even a friend is. Like he's surrounded by. Yeah, you were mentioning, I think you went on like a ski trip or something at one point. Like that's something that, was that like with like people that are your friends that you have no other, they're not like work or something? Yeah, that's kind of the split where, like I talk with friends online maybe once a week or so, but then rarely do I ever, like as a friend group, I would almost never in my life have I done like a friend group thing. And even, like I assume a lot of people that would become my friends are like getting married, but I've never been to any wedding, and I have like kind of no interest, like that's like a half thing, is like I wish I had more like deeper friends, but also I'm so glad I don't ever have to go
like suit up for a wedding on some weekend? Do you just have like a suit that you use for all of them and stuff? Yeah. It's like I didn't dress up for Beta Breakers. I think I was dressing up. I guess some people whenever weddings are so done up and specific, but then in my experience, like those same people don't really bring those same levels of consideration to the rest of their life. Like they don't color, like maybe some of them do color code their house and everything, and like consider like have regular gatherings where they do like a dinner party thing. But it seems like for most people, they do like a one-off, like intentional party at their wedding, and then the rest of their life is kind of chaos. Because I would be very tempted to just be like if I have the ability to get a group of people and tell them what to do, then I'd be like, we're all running a marathon for this wedding, and you could be on rollerblades, you could be on a bike, we can like wheel you in some kind of carriage, but we're all gonna wear suits and we're all gonna run like this marathon. But you could even have like hors d'oeuvres. People could like join you with hors d'oeuvres like during the race, hand you like champagne and stuff that you've hired. Just photographers, like, actually I was impressed one time when I did this race in Yosemite. It was like a 3-day thing, and they provided food for us every night, and they gave us the route and stuff, and there was no times or anything. This was more like a running hike. It was clearly like everybody was trail running, but there was no real, they provided like a kit list, so I had like a water filter, and there was like guides on the trail running back and forth. But that race had photographers too. There was 2 photographers, and they had like typical like DL, so like dual lens, whatever, heavy cameras from Canon, but they were also just running the race, and so like it was insane because like I was doing pretty well, and they were like breathlessly like running in front. They were navigating, they were like hitting the different photo spots, carrying the camera and all their food and stuff for the day. But then I was talking to them, and like one of them had subsequent jobs that were like covering there's a UTMB, that like famous 100 mile on the Mont Blanc. He was like the photographer for that too. But it's crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah, because how would you ever, like, I guess with these, if you're in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, you pretty much need to do your own safety, and if you're doing a job on top of that, you have to be, but then how would you like hire someone and verify that they're going to be able to like do their photography job in like the top of a mountain or something? Yeah. You know what, I was, like, whenever I see like some nice views like this or something, I think, like, if I did have a GoPro and mics and all that stuff, I could just easily capture that view. And if the stabilization was good, then I would be collecting like geotagged routes with shots, and I could start sort of showing like, here's the video and the route and the scenery and the conversation, and it would all be collected without any, like, I would still be getting in, like, it would be like a way to get myself to run more, and I would be creating content at the same time for like my own memories especially. But then as like technology gets better, it's like almost, you don't have to carry any extra like weight or anything. What's funny is Giant Bomb recently was like in discussion, and they said that some of the earliest like Giant Bomb shows, the things they did differently were like, they said one, for example, they had to move floors on their office, and they had to carry their desks like down one floor, and they said they live streamed that. But this was like in, like early 2000. So this was like, they did have like a professional film guy like Drew Scanlon setting up cameras and like figuring out the stream, the feed, and it would have been like big cameras and not mobile and like, connected to power and lighting. And so it's kind of like they, like, today, if you're moving between floors or you're doing some random thing, you can just pull out your phone and film it and don't have to think about it. And still, like, no one really does. But back then, you'd have to, like, plan this whole film plan, like, event. But they still did, but that's, like, that is my favorite kind of content. Like, seeing people just joke around in the hallway as they're moving desks. That's such a pure, like, humanity thing. And the fact that, like, when they say it, it's like, that's like easy content. But back then, it was, like, really, that was the hardest kind of content. And you needed cameras and a budget and a reason to stream and somewhere to store it. Like, even to set up a stream back then Yeah, today it's still like hard to live stream, yeah. But now I see like the Ari at home guy is like 4K stream to Twitch on the streets of NYC, and he's like real time making music. Like that's like, okay, that's still pretty hard, and he's like pushing the boundary. But then in a few years, it's like everyone, we could just have a keyboard sewn into our clothes and a camera in our glasses and a microphone, and like you could just capture. So then it's like, but not everyone still could run a marathon. So if everyone's capturing everything, the thing that's unique that I can get access to is like Yosemite or like a marathon, and that would still be like protected content because people would have to learn how to run a marathon to replicate, or at least, and not even for like monetary reasons or something, but just like that's like the experience that I have that's a little bit unique. And then, of course, they share their experiences that are unique that I don't have. And that's what I like about, that's like what the internet is like this collective consciousness where everyone's just recording like into their lives a little bit, and you get to see like authentic stuff. But it's so funny how, like, now that, the average content you'll encounter online is some, like, could be called, like, AI slop, then it's like, well, if I put slop online, like, if I put this bad audio online, who's to say it isn't AI, and therefore it's, like, excusable or something. And then, yeah, it's like if I make, like, bad music in FL Studio, maybe that's what AI would have given me anyway, so I just got the same thing for free or something. Or it's kind of cool how that's, like, it's, like, my sister is using AI a lot to make music, but now she's also interested in FL Studio. Like, AI is having this effect where everyone's like, oh, now you can get free music, but I want to control the feeling and understand it. Well, then you, of course, have to go back and make music yourself, but they're like, but I can get it for free, so it's, like, motivating to them. It's like, I have this if I need it, but maybe I can get a bit more, like, I can tweak it a little bit, and then they just end up, like, getting good at conventional, they just learn how to do it anyways, but they're motivated by, like, the access or something, yeah. Yeah, that's also, this is kind of like if I have this crappy audio, then every audio that I intentionally record in my apartment will be better. So now I've like set a lower bar for myself. The two comments on like one of the, I call it intentionally untitled, or yeah, intentionally untitled. That's the YouTube channel where I record my other friend, and so I'm posting those to like a separate channel. And there's been 2 comments so far, and it's because I've recorded like 64 hours with my other friend, but they're all of them are like unlisted except for the first like 5. And then I set it so every week automatically one of them releases, but then we also record live, like, or not live, we record like a new episode every week, and I post that public. So now there's kind of like 2 episodes dropping into the feed, like 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there's also like 68, 69, 70. So then someone commented like, they're like quite a jump in the episodes, and it was funny to me because I was like I just dropped this like unedited, uncontextualized conversation that's called like episode 68, and their critique of that is that there's quite a jump from the previous like 5th episode, and it's like, that's not like, so you're fine with everything else. your concern is the episode. And then the second comment is just like pretty good episode or something, but it's like in broken English, so it's like okay, so we have one listener that like is maybe learning English, and that's their draw. That's the strategy, is if anyone's mean, you just assume they're a bot. That's like the coping mechanism thing. Yeah, me neither. I saw one of your shorts has like multiple thousands of views, like one of the chess ones.
It's so random, like some of them
Yeah.
are just like,
Yeah, it's all like whatever the algorithm decides to show it. Yeah, some like metrics of merit or something. Oh yeah, we still have numbers. We don't run beta breakers, we run beta bay. Beta B. Beta breakers, we get a popsicle, we go breakers to bay. We watch basketball. It's like, we're still going. Yeah, if you give a little bit of historical context, because there's that one match where, like, it was like Karpov and Vinci. I think it was approximately incorrect. But they like almost died of like exhaustion, so they had to call the match.
it was Karpov and Kasparov.
Yeah, picking like the right moment, being like the moment that's right before
they die of exhaustion. That would be kind of clickbaity, like the 10 moves before the match was called because they were dying of exhaustion. They were losing like weight though.
Yeah, they were definitely dying.
Oh, like the exact moment. Well, that's kind of a cool video, like explaining. If you could explain like why there's a little bit of ability to call suspect on when they called it by showing like the who was leading and what the outcome was expected or something. Yeah, imagine. Get those FL Studio voice effects. It's like a chess tutorial, but every time a piece moves, my voice changes into some weird thing. The end game will shatter your wine glass. I used to find that so funny, those videos that were like, like the B movie, but whenever they say B, something happens. But then they would be like, that one was really short whenever they sped it up twice whenever they said B. But then other ones were like, whenever they say B, it plays the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it's like decades long video. So that's kind of funny, like coming up with something that's just kind of ridiculous. I really like non sequitur humor, but then there's like an art to it where you have to think of the most unrelated thing. Like whenever a move is played, you order like some kind of thing on Amazon or like whenever like the championship match. But whenever a move is made, you run a marathon, but it's like you just make one short. Every time you do run a marathon, you make a short about the next move, and it's like 10 years long. There's probably like a comic book artist on Fiverr, and you could make like a comic book about a chess match. And then once you have that comic book, that could be the one for the video game. The video game could be like play the next move, and then you start reading the comic. Yeah, it's those kind of things are like, because it's the intersection of the chess community and the comics community, so it can't be like larger than either. What I found was like if you have familiarity with something, that's a fun creative space to be in, because then like if you have to write a comic about something, then which way do you normally go? I always stick there. Yeah, basically there's a certain road where we turn and then we can get to the beach. Yeah, like because it's like, if you understand the world of chess, and then you have the goal of making a comic book story, then it's unlikely that you'll tread on anyone else's idea if you're in the chess world, and also you have that to draw from for like the plot. Yeah, I guess if you get one tiny audience interested, then whenever you do make like the first big thing, you can use a tiny audience as like a launching point. You have like some people will share the Patreon or whatever around, or like write reviews on Steam. Yeah. And then if you like hit the tone right, then people can jump in that don't really understand chess, and it can become larger.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to make it so it's like.
But I guess the first ones could be specific to the audience to like get them locked in, and then eventually, because then whenever you make like a general one and it kind of deviates away from chess, then you have all the chess people on Reddit like talking about how the original was more pure. That's kind of what like Elden Ring, like Dark Souls was a certain community, then Elden Ring like widened it, but it was like the power of the Dark Souls community drove Elden Ring forward. But Elden Ring was general enough to be likable by everybody. They should have put him in it, like just some random NPC in a shack somewhere, and he's just writing in there, and you can see he's like writing the next book. Is that a dead end down there? Yeah, that's the one I usually do, whatever the next road is. I saw an open house here once. One of these houses, but I feel like I need to at least look like I could potentially be like buying it, but I'm just always like wearing normal clothes. They're all like politicians that are in like Washington. These ones have like stairs down to the beach on the other side. It's so weird because whenever they're built, I don't think you'd be allowed to do that. Like the cliff is not like your private property, and you can't like just cut the cliff up, but whatever era they built the stairs in, I guess they're allowed to maintain them or something. I watched maybe half of the 8-hour Brazil travelogue. It was kind of cool. Yeah, I guess it's a good one. Like, a lot of it, like, there's something they refer to visually, but otherwise, a lot of it is good audio, so I can just leave it on, like, as I'm not looking at the screen a lot of the time. Yeah, they show, I guess it was Abra game. Like, there's some kind of Brazilian Abra games that's like an umbrella for different indie games. Can, like, buy a membership to that or something. But Abra Games was what paid for, like, Ben Hansen's trip, and then they paid for Jacob Geller, I guess, out of Min-Max. So they check out one game. Yeah, here's the left turn, I think. They play some game. It's like a platformer with a dog, and the dog can do a double jump with wings. And the dog's goal is to, like, balance the environment. And it's set in the era where, like, European settlers came to Brazil to, like, extract the resources. And that's kind of cool, like, just, like, going, you know, especially going to Brazil, playing a game like that, and then it has a bit of the story in it. It's kind of cool when games make that happen. Yeah, and whenever I'm watching that kind of stuff, I'm looking for ideas for my game jam and stuff. The one thing they do is they mention this in the podcasts and stuff, but they go to, like, the Jurassic Park. They try to go to the Jurassic Park burger restaurant, and they travel to this mall, and then it's closed. And I was thinking, like, could I make a game where your goal is to, like, travel to the Jurassic Park restaurant, and then it's closed, but then you get, like, something unexpected happens, and you do end up, like, in a Jurassic Park or something. Well, I was watching the Pop Leo video too, and I was thinking, could I make a game where, I usually go here. Either way, sometimes my shoes fill with sand. The other question is, should we go, like, to the sand ladder, or skip that one? That's like a longer beach run. Yeah, we can keep it short. Yeah, with this Pop Leo thing, because in the video, they have to put their straws through holes and get them into the pop. So that could be like a little mini game, is like, the control scheme's weird, and then also you could have, like, one of those tile rotation, like you have to connect the straw by rotating tiles. But then the other thing is they guess wrong for some of the pops. And so my idea would be, you don't have to guess what pop it is. Like, you'll have the video footage in the game. You don't guess the actual pop, you guess what they guessed. Because it's like it's the Pope or whatever. So whatever the Pope says, that's the true pop flavor. So then that would be kind of fun, because you'd have, like, multiple choice. And it would be like, one choice is the actual thing that it is, which is wrong. And then the other two would be like what they said and the real, and some other one. Yeah, that's another, I was thinking, how could I put, like, whenever it's time, you know, in my game, you'd have to navigate Jeffem, like, and you'd have this microphone. And you could put in the audio of Ben being like, Jeffem.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
You can't, yeah.
12 times. Like,
I wonder, because that's like an expensive microphone, so they wouldn't want to knock it over.
Right.
And you can see, like, Ben is kind of like, come on, Jeff, like, he's breaking out of the bit a little bit, but not fully. And then neither of them, like, does anything really to rectify. So it's hard to tell, like, are they unspoken agreement? This is a funny bit, and we should just, like, eat the cost of the microphone if it falls. But then it does get caught. That was an impressive catch, too, when it actually falls. It's funny, though, when, like, they have the right amount of planning. Like, the fact that he has to lean in and share a straw hole, and he's knocking the mic, but then that makes the video better. It's like, if they planned more, it would be worse. You know, like... What was that thing at the end, too? It was like, it was just a strong alcohol, like a tiny bottle of strong alcohol that they drank. I thought it was going to be, like, hot sauce.
I'd actually try that.
Oh, yeah? Was it Shasta?
Yeah, it's strong. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
That part was funny, too, because it's like the final drink, and so you know it's going to be something weird. Like, they know each other. And then, like, Ben did talk about whether Jeffem was sober or not before, so they really should have expected that, but then they went, like, all in, trusting. And then you could kind of see, like, they were still laughing in the video, but they were a little bit like, why would you do it, you know, yeah. But it was another moment where it's like, of course Ben's gonna do that, but also how could he do that, but why would they trust him, but they did trust him, and it's like, it's like, that makes it like, yeah, like the more push, it's like they're at a moment where they're kind of like, they understand each other's personalities, and so they're willing to, like, push things to the edge to see, like, can they break the other person. But also I feel that style of humor of, like, doing something that hurts another person is, like, the old school style. Like, I feel like that's the early Game Informer days, like, in the office, like, doing these, like, physical pranks. But now, so that's kind of interesting, yeah. Because, like, they could think of something funnier,
that is like nice. But that's not maybe like Ben's like origins in terms of the era that he was like comedically trained in or something. But it's funny how he's so like, in every video he's constantly wondering if he's being an asshole like when he's talking, and then he just like, that's his one moment where he lets himself just like destroy these two people's minds with this drink. That Nass water was pretty good timing. Like, it was cold and it was a full bottle, and it's pretty like, it's just water with electrolytes, like the right balance. That's a good advertisement. It's so funny, like, it's like, what do you need to do to win one customer? And like, they've now given me like 3 full bottles of their product, and they met me at the end of a race and like gave me cola. And it's like, okay, I might, if I like see your bottle. Yeah. So it's like a 4 to 1, like 3 to 1 ratio of, it's like, how can they be making money on that? It's interesting now though that like the products of the old era were like Gatorade and Pop, and like Pop is good maybe, like I think the real sensation of Pop is like the carbonation, and then but it's like people don't drink it because of the sugar, and then Gatorade is like a good sports drink, but it's mixed too heavily, like you should actually water down Gatorade, and so this like Nass is like, the product literally is just watered down Gatorade. So it's like, how do you sell that? But of course that is what people should want, but whether they do want that or not. And then now we have like companies selling like a basically flavored carbonated water, because it's like, it's basically Pop, but it tastes better and it's good for you. But it also, at the same time, it is just like water with bubbles in it. So now it's like in 2025, you can pay more for watered down Gatorade and carbonated water. But that actually is what we want. But it's like a fight against the old ones that are like actually addictive or something. I thought it's funny that there's a product called Liquid IV, that one. And it's funny that it's called that because it's just people walking around like Disney World that are drinking, they need to drink more water, instead of alcohol or something. And they're taking this like Liquid IV as if they're like putting it, like doing some kind of surgery thing in their vein. Is this the same distance?
I don't know. No? This one...
Oh yeah, I think that is the stairs actually, yeah. Yeah, I remember it ends with the stairs going down. So then it's more. Yeah, it's just a funny, like, people want to feel like they're on some, like tour in another country, like fighting a battle, and like dehydrated or something, or they need this Liquid IV. But it's just like, yeah, you just need like a little bit of electrolytes so you don't wet all your salt out while you're waiting in line. Well, in that situation, it's more fitting because being hungover is like being in like some kind of semi-health crisis, and you do need to like rehydrate in a medical, like the more hungover you are, the more closer you are to actually getting a real IV, which would have like a saline solution. So then like, but it's funny when people are just like, they're just doing the most normal, like, but it's this intense name for like just the water you should be drinking. Yeah, there's another outlet called Remap. I guess you've heard of like Remap Radio. And I was listening to this. Yeah. Because they have like funny stories about like installing a above ground pool at their house and how it went wrong, or like that's where this Liquid IV thing was from, was one of their Disney World stories. But then they also, the other part of the time, they talk about like sports, which is not super interesting. But it makes me realize how good of a storyteller they are. Because, like, I get their weekly newsletter in my email, and one of the weeks was just a story about buying, like, a new vacuum cleaner, and the thought process, and what they thought they needed a big one, but they bought a small one, it worked. But it was, like, written, like, Rob is, like, just a really good writer, I guess. Because it's, like, I read this thing, and I was like, wait, I just spent, like, 15 minutes reading a story about this guy buying a vacuum, and it feels like a complete story. Yeah. I've done so little like reading of articles that like the majority of stuff I've read is weird stuff like that, where I always think it's like a one-off thing. Yeah. But then I think, yeah, like if I was into a game and this guy wrote an article about it, I would want to read that. But I never get around to it. Do you have any leads at the moment? Like, is there any game studios that you've talked with or something? Or like, what part of the journey are you? Yeah, it's hard to picking a done definition is hard. That's kind of interesting that chess games are trees because of the branching movement structure. And so you could take a set of games and like convert them to a tree, like an aesthetically pleasing tree.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting that like the game could in every way be whatever it becomes. But if there was an algorithm where you just scrape chess data and change that, like every time there's a tree in the game, you can go up and see like what's the chess data for that tree. And that would just be like that would be an easy way to, like you need some kind of seed. You could just use even just a random hash where you hash a chess game. If there was some way to connect the game to the tree, then it would just be like an easy, you could have like 100 different games that you scrape that you convert, and then it's just a fun thing to say. They split and merge or something. We could go here. Oh yeah, to how the weighting. Yeah, I feel there's value, like if you have some motivation for that, some motivation for the trees, if you can combine them in a way that shrinks the size but preserves like the motivation for both, and just do like some easier version of both that combines them, then it's like more unique and there's more material and you can sort of pool all the ideas, and then you can cross some threshold where it becomes like done because from combining half-finished things. Something I want to learn though is like making little Blender models and then like coordinate mapping them. Like that's how that chess would work. Is if you made little chess piece Blender models, you'd have to map them to like world space. And I'd like to make, if I ever make like a 3D game with a character, I'd want to make a little thing where you could wear like a hat or sunglasses, and so that those would be separate models. I just need to work out how to get like the center of the model and align them properly. But that would be like it wouldn't be so hard, but it would be pretty easy, like pretty useful skill. Yeah, because for this you'd have to like control the opacity of 3D geometry and line up the pieces.
Well, I'm thinking how
Did you ever go in this tunnel? The tunnel thing down there? There's a little tunnel down here, and it just goes like same path. Yeah, exploding square, having ability. If you could sync, like a chess piece could talk, and it opens its mouth when you talk. That's something too I need to figure out is, like if I have audio, like as we said before, like we both used that node in Godot that measures the amplitude of audio. And so then, but like music videos always have like an icon in the middle of the screen and then like a pulsing waveform. And that's the kind of stuff I should learn to make is just I'd like to make a tutorial for that actually. If people have a song, I'd like to teach them how to throw it into Blender and animate like a light and then record that as like a little animated video. Yeah, that stuff is interesting. I don't think it's carbonated, but it has a little bit of like a light carbonated feel. And then here's another branching. I think I usually go in there, it like goes down the stairs. Yeah, do you go down like that street or something? Yeah, this way sometimes you get stuck if people are like going down the stairs. Yeah, my wife and I took a selfie like 3 years, like 1 year spaced like in this spot I think. Because I guess when we vacationed to the Bay Area the first time we happened to be by here, we took one. Then Google Photos like reminds you like, so then we're like, oh, you can do it again. Stairs were like remade recently just to make sure that like no one ever has to walk on true nature. They always walk on some kind of manicured stair. They never escape. They never realize they can go off trail. It's funny, they also remade the stairs near like Twin Peaks. But then if you go up to Twin Peaks, there's like it's like this dirt trail that's like just water has eaten away like a thing on the side of the road. And so you're like walking on the side of the road outside the median, like in this uneven trail that's like clearly does not even supposed to exist.
Yeah.
And then you get to this like, probably like $2 million pair of wooden stairs, like once you get to Twin Peaks. But the stairs just like start on the side of the road halfway up, and there's no path on that road. So it's kind of just like, what are they so obsessed with? Yeah, they're like they really want to make stairs in the middle of nowhere and then have no way to get there. Yeah, maybe 12:30 is probably like exactly, like we have maybe 10K and 1 hour and a half, and that was our like typical pace. There's a place called the Grand Creperie in the Ferry Building. Have you seen that place? It's like a French creperie, and they make a Nutella banana crepe that's pretty good. Yeah, that's potentially what I would do is just go get a crepe and then so I'll like split off at the Ferry Building. I heard some news about baseball recently that there's some baseball team went like all in on statistics and like current AI regression models and analysis of like they sent all their players to like this lab to like relearn how to move and everything from the ground up to be like optimized. And the story, it's been happening the last 3 years. So like this new coach came in and said, we're going to do like a modern day Moneyball. And so they fired like all the players, all the staff like 3 years ago. And they hired back like, new players and then like retrained them like from the ground up. And for the first 2 years, they said, we're going to like do bad intentionally because doing bad gets to the top of the draft. And so then you can get the best players. So then on the third year, they actually did really well. And I think they made it all the way to the championship or something. And then now, but this year they're doing really bad again. So it was sort of like the model was like proven for 1 year because they hired like NASA engineers and stuff. And then, but now this year everyone's like, so what's going wrong? Like they have like an iPad in the dugout that says like, as the player takes the field, they like tell them the statistically optimal thing to do. But I think that because other teams probably have that data as well, they just know exactly what your team's going to do, so they just like mess with you. Yeah, what's interesting is like paralleling that to what happened with like the VC model, where because of this team that's following statistics, apparently they always hit for a home run every single time because that but that's interesting because the Moneyball, like before Moneyball, they were trying to get home runs. Then Moneyball realized you could get more points by going on the bases, and that was like better. But now they're back to go for a home run every time. But that is what VC does, right? Like VC takes every company and says, don't forget about the bases. Every company is going to go for a home run every time. And whenever we hit a home run, we cash in so much that it doesn't matter that we destroyed all the other companies. And that's kind of like this model of like, there's so much of a payoff for a home run. Do it at all costs, even if you lose the whole year or something. It's kind of like, and then it's also like dehumanizing. It's like instead of the player's instinct and the person and building up the name of the player, it's just like a stats model. And so then it's like the team becomes an algorithm that the coach owns rather than the individuals. And that's such a weird, and especially the fact that it was about the individual, then Moneyball made it about the algorithm, then it was kind of about now everyone's doing Moneyball, so it's back about the players again, and then now we're back into an era of back to the algorithm. It's weird that it bans, but it's always but what is the point if it's not about a human being? Because I'm a human being, even if the model, if you solve baseball and the players are indifferent, then who would watch baseball? There's no point in it anymore. That's interesting. It's because if you're using stats, the stats are in control and you have to do whatever they say, and then therefore you're not a coach anymore. You're just doing the stats, and so I feel it's almost like they're no, I have to coach somehow. So those stats, I'll choose those stats and then do that, and then it's only partial. It's selective, and then they have a weakness.
And it's that happens with stats reasons too.
Yeah, but if the other team doesn't know it's a myth, then they fear the guy and then they're playing badly. Did they say it must be if someone's playing good, then they're playing good, so they can go hard. The fans are into it. They're feeling confident, so that all manifests, the hot hand thing. Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah, it's because it's not every shot is a roll of a fair dice. It's if a guy's playing good, he's playing good. If he's playing bad, he's going to continue playing bad this game because he's feeling bad today. Yeah, there's a momentum. Yeah. Did you ever hear that the NFL started publishing injury rates and injuries because before, when they didn't, you could get that info and make bets and beat the market. So they had to make it fair for everyone. So they had to publish it so no one could get inside info. Marshmallow. We're talking bubble wrap. We're talking bubble wrap. We're talking pillows. We're talking talking bouncy house terrain. Oh yeah, can't pick up speed. It's probably because now now when they're not they're technically playing football, but no one's near each other.
Exactly.
That's now weighting down the average. Like if they get rid of it, then what's the next biggest thing? The rest of football, like the basic core act of football, turns out to be number 2 the most concussions. That's a good donut place. They have some interesting. They have their flavors listed on the outside there. Pretty like non-typical flavors. They also sell like a glass of orange juice, so that's actually nice if you want a refreshing glass of orange juice. But it's also kind of expensive. It's like $5 or something for a coffee break. Where's the coffee? Oh, at the pier. Yeah, I've never looked into that coffee place. Yeah, we can do whatever timing. It's now just however fast you want to get to the basketball thing. But since I'm not going, I have no timing. Except my crate place closes at 2 p.m. But it's also usually super crowded on Sunday, so sometimes I skip. There's a good farmer's market, though. And there's this place that makes, like, fresh miso called Aiden. And they put like, balls of rice. So they take, like, a ball of rice and put a salmon or some miso on it. And they taste pretty pure and pretty good. So I'll get, like, 3 of those, and they're pretty cool. I don't know when the farmer's market closed. I get the impression there's a bunch of like art. There's like a massive coffee house and some art studios and stuff in these Fort Mason. But I've only been there for the conventions or the expos. Do you ever have any, like, do you have like a weak knee or anything like that? Like a sort of a, yeah, if my back hurts, it's usually because if I run like this and then I sit for like a couple hours at my desk, then it hurts like the next day or something. Oh, and there's the Phil's truck. Why a coffee, though? Coffee's hot. Did you get iced coffee or something?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, yeah. It's funny, like a motorcycle club versus like a game dev club. And it's like, the game devs are doing a cooler thing, and it's harder, so there's like less of them. But like the motorcycle is just easy and cool, so it's like a no-brainer. They can do it. Yeah, same for me, I think. Yeah, one thing I want to do sometime is go from like thing to thing in the Alps, like shelter to shelter, or pick like some hotels and stuff in different towns and just run between towns. Yeah, but now I found this is part of my Swiss Peaks race, is that the race is on like the trails that are open to the public. But the nice thing is they tell you, like, you have an expected time and aid stations and first aid. And on the long one, on the 360K one, there's like 6 different like sleep stations where you go in there. There's blankets, bed, showers, a hot meal. You can get like a duffel bag that has like equipment you can switch out, and they tell you what to bring for safety. And that may be, because that's also fun because everyone's like in the race with you. You see other people. So I think that's really. I don't think I would spend the time to plan my own route and safety. But yeah, that's kind of like 170K would be an interesting challenge. I don't think I would have to I would just have to push through it and make sure I sleep enough and go slow. But then the 360 would be such a I think still feels to me like a very transformative distance. I think I've maybe done a little bit shorter than that over 5 days, but it was with a start and an end every day. But in this case, this is at your own pace, so you just have to choose for yourself how long you spend places. Yeah. And that part of the psychology is, I think, is hard, because every time you're sleeping, you're I could still be going, and if you skip a station, I think that's really hard. You end up destroying yourself. Because I talked to someone else when I was there. I sort of finished the race, and I met someone else there, and they said they were doing the 170, and they tried to do 100K right away, and before they took any breaks, and that just wiped them out. And that was kind of interesting, because it's you do 70 and you feel kind of good maybe, but you have to it's you have to lean on the stacks a little bit, and you have to sleep for a set amount of time that you feel is longer maybe than you need to, just to survive later. Then also, that's a race that I would want to film somehow, but that's a challenge too. Is I don't know if I can do the race itself, so then filming would add a bit of extra burden or something. And so then I'm not really sure. Maybe I would like carry sort of a GoPro around and just see what footage I got and then put a story together. Yeah, I guess the Safeway has... Actually, that Safeway surprisingly doesn't have a lot of drinks. There's like one fridge that's hidden somewhere in it. You want another Joey's popsicle? Yeah. Yeah, you can lead the way, because actually I looked for the drinks one time, and I remember walking around and seeing like packs of drinks and just like a weird absence of single drinks. What are you looking for though? Some kind of drink? Is this it? See, I would expect... Oh yeah, there we go. It's at like the exit. What's the statistical model that has them put this here?
Yeah.
These ones are at work actually now. These usual ones.
Welcome. If you have your club card, please scan it now. 264. If you have your club card, please scan it now. Your card has been accepted. System process.
I was thinking there should be like an electrolyte patch, like a nicotine patch, that you just put on your skin and it just gives you stuff. So, like it's a marina on the waterfront. Like they're around like Coit Steps area. Yeah, Columbus is that whole like diagonal street. Sometimes I go on that street because it's like a shortcut back. Do you want to do the actual steps of the Coit Tower? Like the Filbert? We could just turn in and do the Filbert steps up, and it looks like your thing is somewhere on the other side. Because then how do we avoid it then? Because the partnered streets are the same kind of like elevation. If you want to avoid the elevation, I think cutting in at like Pier 39, if you cut into those streets, maybe there's less of a hill. Yeah, I think I'll stay on the waterfront, so then wherever, you can sort of cut in wherever you want, and then that's where we can split up. Yeah, whenever I have a back doing that, I make sure to do like the Superman stretches. Those always like almost like instantly heal me. And then I wonder, like, so many people do like chiropractic and stuff, but if they just did that Superman stretch, like that's a good like first attempt. Yeah, physical therapy is kind of expensive, but I found it's pretty good. It's weird. Physical therapy, they just tell you to do very subtle stretches that are very similar to what I would do, but then it works like really well. Do you find like does a standing desk avoid lower back issue, or it could be similar? That's everyone's cell phone. I have mine turned off, I think, for that stuff. It's like two beta breakers have broken out of their constraints and are at large. I'm trying to think like what news of some incoming disaster could it be giving me that actually would be useful. It's in Burlingame. Yeah, I still think that system is pretty strange. Like, it makes a lot of sense, but I don't think it's going to have the effect that they're expecting. Because I just think, everyone in this entire city just got distracted for a couple of seconds, and some of them are driving or doing ambulance stuff or police watching for stuff. And it's sort of like, that's a big cost. And they're sort of weighing that cost against whatever the thing is for. And then they'll say, if they find the guy, that's a positive result, but it's like, but maybe he was going to be found anyway, and maybe if you just had, crisis response people around or some healthcare for that guy to prevent whatever situation he's in right now, it just as a baseline society thing, we wouldn't need, it's just, people are so excited about, this statistic of, if we want to find someone, we can find them. But, I mean, if we could reliably do that, we'd immediately use it for bad things, too. So then, what are we going for? I wonder, too, let's say there's, a day where, 5 people go missing independently, and they're all of the same alert level. Would the guy who sends the signal, the fifth one, would he be like, we're not doing this? I agree, your situation is just as urgent as the other ones, but 5 times in a row, people are going to lose their shit. It's funny though when everyone's phone goes off and mine doesn't, and it's like, yeah, that's right. I'm not a contributing member of society. I'm doing nothing here. I'm walking around just like you, but when the call comes, I don't answer it. Yeah, because actually, in my apartment, in my bedroom, I'm renting a condo from a condo building, and the fire alarm is the loudest sound I've ever heard in my bedroom it's a small room with brick walls that reflect the sound. And so about once a year in the middle of the night,
I'm like woken up to the loudest sound I've ever heard, and it's literally like I'm like out of bed standing before I even like am aware, like, and then I'm like, what's going? Like I'm just like yelling, like whoa, like, and then I just start to find earplugs, and then I realize like my clothes are in the bedroom, so I have to like go in and try to change because I'm like holding my ears. Yeah, it actually does make me like so against like fire people, like, 'cause it's like my own personal conspiracy theory is that nothing ever catches on fire and everything is like a drill all the time.
Yeah.
At every like workplace or school, there's been like a drill, but I never have seen fire like with my own eyes ever. But then my dad was like a workplace health and safety inspector for the Canadian government, and so part of his job was like fire regulations, and so he says he's like seen like training scenarios where, you know, they try like lighting a room on fire and see how fast it burns, and he says it's like really fast, but I still feel like I would be like, I'm interested, like, you know, say an apartment like mine catches on fire, I'm pretty sure I could just drop from like the 3rd story, or like, you know, there wouldn't, like I would put a blanket around me. I don't know if there'd be a situation where like I can't, you know, the fire cuts me off and I'm just like stuck. Mostly it would be like, I think about like I would need to like bundle my cat I would need to get my cat in the carrier, then I could just like do some bouldering on the outside of my apartment. Oh, their drill, yeah. Yeah, Dwight like fakes it, and then he like he locks the door. That would be a funny bit to like be a writer for, because you have to think about how to keep like revving up the tension with each character. Like what would they do that's even more insane? When I see that silver guy, I don't think I would paint my face if I was doing that every day, but I would do the rest. And I always think it's pretty cool though, like dancing, dressed like that, dancing. That is a pretty cool bit to do. And it's like a thing that could easily be so much cooler as well. And he could even dance less. Like if he just moved, if like a choreography coach was like, just tap your leg like this, you know, just kind of in time, and do this with your arms, I bet it would look so cool. And he wouldn't even have to do anything. Yeah, that guy used to do that kind of, but I feel the way he moves, it's like, yeah, it looks like a guy who's been standing still for every day for most of his life. I know that, I think any one of these streets would hit Columbus, the diagonal. I think so. Yeah, sometimes I forget exactly where Columbus. Yeah, I would check the map just to make sure you'll hit Columbus, but then, yeah, this walkway, I don't know if that walkway actually gives you any advantage. The time you got, there's like no traffic. There's a crepe place at Pier 39 too. I like their crepes. Yeah, well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we can, I guess I'll see you next Tuesday. Like, we'll record next Tuesday if nothing else. But we can talk about it too, a half marathon. Like, if you find a half marathon somewhere, then I'd be interested, or if we end up,
great.
doing something like that.
I'll research. Yeah, I would love to
Yeah.
try and get my 130.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well,
I'll see you.
see you around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Hi. Could I get to go a?
lunch?
Yeah, I'll take a to go banana bread
Okay.
and a to go Nutella crepe with added banana.
May I have your name for the order?
It's Richard. Thanks.